Welcome to Seed to Success, the podcast where we deep dive into the strategies, stories, and smart decisions that help VAs and OBMs grow and thrive. I'm your host, Adrienne Donnelly, and whether you're just starting out or looking for ways to take your business to the next level, you are in the right place. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into today's conversation. Today, we are joined by one of our incredible Inner Circle members, Jessica Connor. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Thank you. I'm very excited to get to know you more. Obviously, we chat in our members community and you come into our brainstorming sessions often, but this is a really great way to get to know you a little bit better. So let's go back to the start. When did you first become aware of the term virtual assistant or become aware of this virtual assistant industry?
Ooh, about 4 years ago now. So I was pivoting with what I was doing with work and wanted to do something or needed to do something at home because I'd been through a burnout and was quite unwell and wasn't sure what that would look like. And I came across the Seed at that time. She was opening up a membership and a course. So I was really excited around learning, what does a virtual assistant do? Does my skill set from corporate be able to work in from home? How does that look? And then went down that rabbit hole of finding all the information. Was like, I can do this. Virtual assistance is a range of skills. It doesn't matter what it is. So I joined that course and then started building a business.
Now you're 3 years, just over 3 years in.
Yeah.
If you think about when you were doing the Seed course and coming out the other side of that season and that burnout stage, how does your business now 3 years in look in comparison to what you had thought it was going to look when you started?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I didn't actually know, to be honest, what it was going to look like when I started the business. You're in that territory of, I want to do it. I'm going to just go for it and see what it turns out to be. I thought I was going to have all this free time.
Plot twist.
I'll get my socials going and I'll have free time to build the back system and do the website. And oh, no. Yeah, I was booked out in my first month. So that was crazy. And then it just started to spiral and build and build. So to be honest, I thought, yes, I would have more free time. And now I look back and I go, I have free time, but it's different. It's a different way. And it's structured around how I want the business to run. But it's not like, I don't know, I'm not like that one that sits down on the beach and has an 8-hour day and only works 2 hours. Like, it doesn't work that way for me. That sounds weird.
I don't know if it works that way for anyone, to be honest. I think that may be what we're sold on Instagram. Yes. You just need a laptop and you can work from the beach, but yeah,
You've
I don't know that's the reality.
That's all you need to do. No, it's not.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit about what your business primarily focuses on in the clients, but let's talk about that first month because I know you see this a lot in our free Facebook community that we have online and when new VAs are coming into our membership community about where do I find clients? You said you were booked out and at capacity within that first month. Where were those clients coming from?
So I was on Instagram. That was the only platform. And let me tell you, I am not good at graphics and I am not good at socials. I'm better at speaking. So that was fascinating that I was getting inquiries through Instagram and then on Facebook. So in groups, reaching out, and I've got a sales background. So being able to feel comfortable and talking about what I could do and help. So reaching out to people when I saw that there was a question that they may have. So necessarily wouldn't be around, let me come and work for you. It would be more around solving their issue and helping them and supporting them, building that community. And then that's how it really started to connect pretty quickly.
Interesting. So it wasn't so much responding to, you look at some of those big Facebook groups, especially those ones that predominantly are female Australian-based business owner group. It wasn't so much, by the sounds of it, you were responding to people saying, I need a VA, but just adding value, sharing tips and tricks and recommendations and helping answer their questions to establish yourself as a bit of a go-to person.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that then the world of Facebook and those groups, a lot of people are like, I'm a VA, let me help you. But it's just noise. It's not really connecting with that person. It's not really getting to understand what it is that they need. So spending that time making that connection. And if I can give you an example, one of the
Yes.
ladies that I spoke to originally when I first opened, like she was my dream client, like someone I would have wanted to work with, would have been so excited. She didn't sign up with me in that first month, but she signed up with me over a year later because I built that relationship, and I kept checking in with her every month, seeing how her business was going, just talking in general. I wasn't interested in signing her straight away because I still didn't understand my business, and I wanted to make sure I was in the right spot. But having that connection and then I reached out at Christmas and wanted to say, have a great time. I knew she was traveling, so have amazing time away. Make sure you switch off, have that time. And then I got a message back from her saying, we're connecting when I get back. I need your help now. And I
There
was
you
like,
go.
amazing. And that it shows you, it's just that consistent communication, building that relationship. It's not being quick and leaving it. But yeah, so that was a huge win for me because it was as I said, my dream client. Would have loved to have worked with her from the start, but I knew personally in me, I wanted to get things set up as well. Yeah. So it's just around that build relationships.
Yeah, and it's very interesting from someone in sales with a background in sales, that perspective. It isn't actually about a hard sell. You made two really great points there around really being clear on what your ideal client is and who that dream client is, but not jumping in boots and all when you don't have the foundation correct. And I think that then sets you up for more sustainable, long-standing relationships with clients, because when they come to you, you are then ready. You've got all your business sorted. You know what needs to happen to run your business, and then you're ready to service your clients. And you're obviously going to have to learn on the job with all of them, but it's a really great point around having solid foundations and knowing in yourself, am I actually ready to take this client on? And do I have the confidence? And do I feel like my house is in order first?
Absolutely. Because I think we sometimes can go guns blazing and then we start to do that self-doubt and then that starts to show in everything that we're doing and delivering. So it is nice just to go, I know where I want to get to. I'm going to create and say hello and just build that relationship, but focus on what I need to, and then come back to this and just nurture it and see where that goes.
And that,
because we're never going to miss out, right? We're just not.
No, and I think if you have the mindset that you're not going to miss out, we talk about this a lot, is if in our industry I had someone message me this morning and said, is it a really competitive industry? And my stance is always the same. If you believe there is enough for you and you put in the work, there will be enough for you. And if you see everybody as competition and the enemy, then that too will also become the reality of your situation. I think that's a big part of the mindset, is really believing that in your product, in your service and what you have to offer, and that there will be enough for you.
Absolutely.
With hard work.
Yeah. And it comes back to the coffee shops, doesn't it? How many coffee shops are there? You can walk down a street and you could have 3 or 4 coffee shops, but each one has clients, and they have customers and clients because they're different and they suit that particular person. So I always say there's so much work. It's just finding what you specialize in or who you want to work with and support, because, who I work with might be very different to who you work with, and that's fine. But in the end, like you said, we need to be able to support each other in the industry, because there's going to be a time when you're going to need to be able to go, hey, I need some help subcontracting here, or would you like this, or what does that look like? Or it might be a quiet time and you want to go and support another business and help them. So yeah, it's really around nurturing everyone. I'm very much like you. I don't believe in that competitive. I'm just, focus on your lane, see what you're doing. What is your mission and your vision? And that's what you drive for, not what's happening with the noise around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the clients that you service and the work that you do now. You mentioned there your ideal client would be different to mine and be different to the next VA or OBM. What does your kind of client base look like, and what are those services that you're supporting them with?
It's a really good question. So I might need to give a bit of context to be able to explain why I've picked my clientele and what that looks like. As I said, I had a burnout. So my burnout was very severe. So I was bedridden for close to 2 years. So I lost movement in arms and legs. And that was from working 80-hour weeks, corporate role, hence why I needed to obviously find something else I wanted to do.
Mm.
My mind was still working, but body was just so disengaged, not switching on to mind and body. And I was very tired. So during that process was when I came to the conclusion of there has to be a different way to work, and there needs to be a way with the top level that I was in and how high I was that I could ask for support and still be successful. And I think that's where I was struggling in the corporate world. And I read a book and it had said, why don't you hire a cleaner? Like, hire a cleaner, gives you back your time. And my brain just switched on and it was like, if I hired a cleaner, I probably wouldn't be without my health. And that's just the small thing. But then I thought, why can't we hire someone to help us? And what we do, especially in high corporate roles, there has to be like a VA, an EA, whatever we want to call them. But I wanted to create space to breathe. And that's what came from me being unwell. It was I need to make sure anyone in that kind of role isn't burning out, doesn't get to the extreme that I've been in, that now I've got 2 chronic illnesses from it, but can be successful and know it's okay to have help and there's no judgment. We're here to make sure that you succeed. That's what we want to do. So my whole business model was around creating that space to breathe. And so instead of having a niche around what clients do I work with, it's always been around the mission and the value of creating space to breathe. If my clients are wanting that space to breathe within their business, then we're aligned because that's so important. That means making sure we're putting the boundaries in, that we switch off at night, we've got the boundaries over the weekend. Those things were really important for me when I was finding clients. So in terms of who we work with, a huge range. So from events, from transport logistics, Pilates instructors, coaches, there's a huge range. Psychologists, like it's everywhere.
Wow. A very broad range. And thank you so much for sharing your background and sharing that story with me and with the listeners and the viewers. I think, I really appreciate you sharing that. And it's a good reminder for us all about, I guess, where it can lead, that ongoing overworking.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And I think that's still can happen in your own business as well, because we are doing 50 different roles. We're not just doing the one role now. So you've got to be mindful as well as what that looks like when you're working for yourself.
And are there things now, if we just sort of chat a little bit about that, if you're comfortable to?
Yes, of course.
Are there things now or signs that you can spot in yourself that are red, amber flags to you to say, Jess, you're getting to that point again? And you mentioned managing 2 chronic illnesses. Are there things now where you can spot them quite early to go, I'm putting up my hand, this is getting a bit full on, I need to step back or take a break?
Yes. So for me, it's the brain fog. Like, when you get to the point and you're looking at your computer and you're like, okay, I can do this. And then you're like, no, I'm tired, really tired. So I start to notice that I'm getting quite to the point where, no, I need to switch off, move away, have a rest, and then I can pick that up. The other thing for me is when I get to that tired part, I start to notice everything. Like everything comes to my brain. And so I don't know, I use paper, so I'm looking at my notepad. For example, on Saturday, I was like, oh, I'm very tired now. And I wrote out 50 things that I felt like I needed to do in my business. It just like starts to overwhelm me. My brain's like, I need all of this done. I'm like, well, I actually don't need all of this done. Like, is it something I need? So I wrote it all down and then just turned the computer off. I'm like, okay, it's out of my head. We'll look at it later. So knowing then, but also the late nights, making sure I'm not doing the late nights, which we all do, and balancing mum life as well is sometimes you do work nights because baby's sleeping, but then it spirals for the rest of the week. So I just have to be mindful of my brain getting slow, my body getting tired, too much happening in my brain, and writing it all down is a big sign.
Yeah.
Weird. It just comes out and I'm like, it's like, OCD, I think.
But I think also sometimes there's a lot of information out there around burnout and managing those signs. And sometimes it can just be as simple as just writing a huge big list, because they're the things that wake you up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and you don't write them down and then you don't sleep because you're stressing, I'm going to forget that I've got to send that client that template that they asked for yesterday. And sometimes just that big writing it down, getting it out of your head. I know when I had experienced levels of burnout in the past, I would say to my partner at the time, I just need you to read out this client list to me and ask me everything I need to do for them. And he would write it all down for me because I cannot get my head to stop for a second and just get
Yes.
someone to help you with that. And it really made a big difference as that just that relief in getting it out and then being able to organize your thoughts a little bit more.
It absolutely does. It sounds weird, but sometimes you just need that brain dump. You really need to just get it out because we're not working with one client, majority of us. We're working, with maybe 5 or more clients depending. And then if you've got team, you've got to then think of your team as well. So you've got multiple businesses that you're managing plus yours and then whatever else is happening in your personal life. So it's like, yeah, that spiral effect.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is I notice with myself, if I'm getting tired or getting to that burnout point is when, and I notice if I don't stop and eat because I'll work through, I won't have lunch or things because we're in that mindset, I've got to get this done. And then that kind of has that big effect on your body, on your adrenal glands. So all of those things as well, it's just taking that time because in a normal job, we would have a break. But we're sitting at a computer or at home, most of us, that we feel like, nope, we can just keep going through. So we're not putting in those kind of boundaries for ourselves to protect ourselves.
Yes. And going and getting food and then coming back to the desk doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
We
It
need that
does
change of scenery. We've just recently moved house and we've got one chair at the house at the moment for the outside. Like we don't have our outdoor setting yet. It's just this one little egg chair. And every day I go and heat up my lunch and just plonk it in the middle of the backyard, put my feet on the grass, get a bit of sun if it's not raining, and just eat my food. I don't take my phone. I'm like, the world is not going to stop in 15 minutes.
Correct.
From me being away from the laptop. And it's just 15 minutes, even if that's just where you start or a walk around the block, whatever, walk to the end of the street and back. You're right. It is prioritizing those things so that we are running sustainable businesses and we're taking care of ourselves, because I know you've got a team and I want to talk about that, but there may be loads of people listening that it just is them, and not taking care of yourself is that is a huge risk to your business, because if you're not there, it doesn't run often. Correct. When we are using our man hours or woman hours or human hours to service our clients. So if we're not taking care of ourselves, that's a huge taking care of ourselves is a huge risk management strategy in our businesses. And it seems so obvious, but we do need that reminder, like chats like this every now and again, to go, yours is obviously the worst case scenario of what could possibly happen, and not getting to that point.
Yeah. And it's the same as with anyone, like with my team, for example, they all need to make sure they have their breaks. Like we're very much on switch off. Like things can wait, like nighttime, you don't need to respond to things. And I think we all have that tendency of when our phone rings, especially when it's work, we need to answer then and there.
Yep.
Or the emails or whatever.
The notifications.
It's okay.
Yes. And I think the more we do that, the more the clients become accustomed to us being ultra responsive. So then when we're not, they're like, hey, what's happening? It's like, it's only been 12 hours. Just everyone relax. But it's like we build this rod for our own back almost.
Yes. Or sometimes it's even on you being an hour and it's like, it's okay, I'm coming back to you. I've just had my lunch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's just being mindful that it's okay. You don't need to respond to something straight away, or you don't need to read it at night or wake up during the night and check your phone. It can wait till the next morning. Keep your phone out of your room. That's my best advice.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yep.
You mentioned team there a little bit. As sort of two things I want to chat about with you on that is how the evolution of you and the business on your own and then to that team model came to be. And probably secondary question to that is, what have you learned about yourself as a business owner moving from just yourself to a team model?
So first part was when I brought a team in, would have been not even a year into the business. And my first team member was Daryl, and still is Daryl. He's in our business still. I brought him on purely to do my social media. As I said, not good at social media. And oh my gosh, if I look at my graphics from the start, I was just, doing what I was doing to put things up.
Yep.
I knew what I wanted in my head. I had this beautiful branding. I knew what I wanted to
Mm.
use, but I just didn't know how to put it together. And I didn't have the time. As I said, I was like booked out, trying not to burn myself out again, and just needed support for that. So Daryl came in to help me with my socials, 20 hours a week to begin with. And then we connected so well. And I was like, Daryl, do you want to start to help some clients with socials and branding? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to. So just started growing with Daryl. And then I brought on, so that was July in my first year. And then we had my first birthday. And then I brought someone else on called Mira. She was amazing administration wise to start to support clients in there and myself. And then we went back down just to Daryl. Mira went and had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a baby.
Mm-hmm. A little
And
revolving
then
door.
it was kind of, yes. And Daryl was still with us. He was running everything with our clients, doing really well. And then we just kept growing the business. And so we decided to bring in some support to help Daryl and Mira when she came back. So now we've got a team of 5 and it's amazing. They all specialize in different things. So from OBM, go high level builds, ivory builds, to socials, to admin, you name it, we've got it.
Amazing.
And so in terms of when I would have identified, because that's probably a good point to come back to, especially if you're working by yourself, it's really nerve-wracking to bring someone into your business. There's 2 parts to it. The one part that I always see with VAs and also with clients is it means that they have to give up a little bit of a salary to bring someone in. And yes, that is true. That's the reality. But it does work out in terms of saving yourself some time and giving you about some freedom to be able to then bring in a few more clients. So you have to see it that kind of way or whatever the goal is, rather than I'm going to lose some income, because it's not going to be long that it's a value to your business.
Yes.
I think that's a big part that stops a lot of people. And the second thing is, what can you get them to do in your business? Pick one thing that you don't want to do anymore. Mine was socials.
Yes.
And that freed me up so much time, so much less stress of, oh my gosh, I have to post. I haven't posted in like a week. So that would be my one thing there, just when you need someone in. If you're getting to the point where like we've spoken around the late nights, the not eating, checking the phone all the time, it's probably time you need to look at getting some support.
And the social media is a great one as that first step for you, because your social media had become the main lead generator for you. So yes, it probably cost you and took from some of the income that you were earning for yourself, but it's almost like you had to invest in that to do it well, because you knew that investment, the return on investment for that was going to be quite high, because your social media was bringing in those new clients. So that made sense to invest in that area to then project you into that new season with the growth of your clients.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing was Daryl was really great with all the branding, but I still wanted to be the communicator. So speaking in my DMs and approaching people and doing that, because I'm the front of my business. People meet with me, and that was so important that they had that engagement from myself. So we set up a really strong model around how that would look. And there would be times that I would be busy doing client work and I'd get a message from Daryl, you've got messages, can you check them, make sure you're responding? So it was that reminder, taking that off my head. Oh, someone's telling me that it's there, I need to go in and see what's happening and respond.
In terms of your growth as an individual, as a business owner, and now as a leader of the team, what have you learned about yourself in that evolution of going from yourself to the leader of a team of 5 now?
So it's interesting. I had been a leader in corporate. So the last role that I was in, I had over 300 people reporting into me. So, and I know the reason why I'm saying that is it's very different to leading within your own business. It sounds weird, but it is. I think you have a bit more control. You're like, oh, this is my business. Like, this is my livelihood now, even though you're doing that in the corporate, but this is more like, ooh, if something goes wrong, it's on me, or what does that feel like? So it was really learning to trust within myself, to make sure that I hired people that were aligned with myself and the mission and the vision of the business, and that they understood that and the expectation. And then being comfortable to let them do what they are good at and not micromanaging them. Going, this is the plan, this is the expectation, you go and you try, and let's come back and look at it. So that was really good. And also being available for any feedback at any time and allowing them to feel comfortable to come to you with any kind of issues or things that they see in the business that they would recommend changing or doing. And that's really supported myself as a leader, but also grown our business because we work as a team. We're very team orientated. What's happening? What are we doing? Where's it going? And they will have a buy in it as well. They get to say, and it just creates a nicer environment to work within.
Yeah, it's an incredible business that you have built. And every time I chat with you, I learn more about you and just think, gosh, you have built an incredible, incredible business. When you said 300, I thought, oh my gosh, 5 must feel like a walk in the park now. But it's really great points that you make because in a large organization, a large corporation, a large group of organizations that you've worked in the past, there are other levels, there's a hierarchy, there's other places people can go where in a small business, like you said, it stops with you. It's your name on the door. It's your name in the company name. So there are actually quite a lot of differences, but enough probably transferable leadership skills that background in leadership would have set that foundation for you.
Absolutely. And I think a couple of things for me is depending on how you bring some people in, like if you're subcontracting them in or whatever that looks like, it is making time to sit in and get to know them because they are working within your business. It doesn't have to be business related. In the end of the day, you need to build that relationship with that team member too. And that makes someone feel more valued and wanting to support you as well. So I think it comes back to that as well. Like I said, relationships with your clients, but relationships with your subcontractors in your team is so important. And I think giving feedback, providing it. A lot of us are nervous to provide feedback, but that's how we learn. And, ask for your own feedback too. Any subcontractor you've got working for you, I'm sure that they might have something to help you or support you with. And it's just being comfortable to get that feedback. Yeah, that would be my kind of few things there around a team.
Yeah. And there's clearly a very strong theme coming through with yourself is that relationship building, whether it's how you started by connecting with other business owners and checking in and building that kind of more professional friendship or collaboration association with that person and also your team. That seems as though that real focus on relationships and building a rapport both with your clients and your team has been a big contributing factor to your success so far.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is we always think bringing someone into your business is going to be easy. We kind of go, yep, we'll bring someone in, they will do the work and that's it. But there's a lot more to it as well. So you do need to make sure, that would just be my other thing, is you really understand what you want them to do. What does that look like? Because you've now got to manage someone, as in the expectation of their workload, what's happening, what's being delivered, their questions that they have. That's another part to add to your normal day routine.
Yeah, it's having that time and the headspace and the clarity to first find and then onboard and then retain that resource within that human resource within your business. And I think sometimes we see this even with clients. I'm sure you've seen that in the VA and the OBM space, that overwhelm, that they're flustered and they need to get some help. And often when they rush it, it's not the right VA or OBM that comes in. It might be the second time they go out to market or out to the community to find someone to bring into their business because they're making those decisions in quite a kind of, not chaotic, but in a state of overwhelm and just thinking, I just need help yesterday. And it may not always be the right person that they hire that first time.
Correct. And then they get nervous when they come to work with you. So you will have those triple checking in or those bits and pieces until they feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Jess, the majority of our listeners and viewers are VAs and OBMs or service providers. If there's someone listening that's thinking about coming into our industry and where you were 3.5 years ago, is there any advice or tips or insights that you would share with them if they're on that cusp of thinking, don't I go in on this virtual career?
Yes, absolutely.
You're like, how long have we got?
Yes, let's do this. One thing for me would be don't feel like you need to have all the answers for your whole business, a full plan. I'm going to just say business plan, like a full business plan. You need to know all your services. You need to have a website. You don't need all of that at this point of time. And I'm going to say this in a nice way. You also, we speak around, and the industry speaks a lot around niches. And it has since when I started, and that stressed me out in the beginning. It was so stressful. And I say, don't worry about a niche. Don't stress yourself with that. You're going to work it out as you go.
Yep.
And for example, for me, I don't have a niche of a client, but my niche is my mission, which is creating that space to breathe. So I know if someone aligns to that, they're my client. If they don't, that's fine. But you will find what works well for you. Don't get that overwhelm and stop yourself from starting, because you'll be like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be working with coaches, if I'm supposed to be, it's just too much. So take that pressure off and start. Don't worry about websites and everything until you feel ready for that. You really just need your socials. You need to be creating relationships, as I said, and that comes all free. It's a really free way of doing it. It just takes time. And also, you will be surrounded by people that are doing really well. And that's an amazing thing. Don't let it beat you up if you haven't got a client yet, or you didn't book out in the first month, or when you see people say on socials, it drives me insane when I see I made a 10K month and whatever they did. And great, congratulations, very happy for you. But that's not the reality for everyone. But don't let that stop you, because once you get one client in and you're building your confidence, that's the main thing. Getting that connection, word of mouth happens very quickly. So that's what you want to work in. And you want to have a sustainable business, not a 10K month and then a 2K month and whatever it is. You really want to grow that and be able to nurture your business. And it does take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. And you will learn lessons.
I wish I could
we all know the lessons.
Yes, I wish I could just bottle up all of that advice and just plaster it over the sky, because you just absolutely nailed so many of the pain points and so many of the forks in the road that new VAs come. And we see it in our free Facebook community. I see it with the students and the participants coming through our courses is, do I need websites? Do I need social media? How do I find clients? We could record a whole podcast about I can help you make this month much money every month. And that's fine if that messaging resonates with you. But I would be encouraging people to interrogate that a little bit more, because billing 10K a month doesn't mean you have a business bank account with 10K a month in it.
Correct.
But again, that's a whole, there's been a few of the Inner Circle members I've had on the podcast that have brought that up. I'm like, this is a whole episode on its own.
Absolutely.
But I think the niche conversation is a great one for us to continue having, because I see the perspective of people who are strong believers in having a niche and its importance, and all their arguments I would agree with. But I also see your side around not having one, and that your niche may be not defined by an industry, something in your tech stack, a gender, a location, or another characteristic of the business owner. And even myself, my VA business is almost 10 years old, and I wouldn't say I have a niche. I work with people that have the same values as me. And what they all have in common is they truly see the importance of having a VA. They trust that as a resource in their business, and they totally understand the role that I play, and they take it seriously. That is my ideal client. That is my niche. Business owners like that. It's not, they're all like you, all different industries. They all use different technology. They work in different ways. They provide different services. So it's just about how you look at that word niche and how you apply it to your business. And as we've seen, it can change. And that's the beauty of having your own business. You might start thinking, I'm going to work specifically with tradies because I grew up in a tradie household and my dad ran a tradie business and my brothers are in the trades and I know that space. And then 2 years in, you go, oh, look at this industry over here. A lot of what I've done could apply to that. And you might go in a totally different direction. It's not set in stone, and you don't have to have it all worked out within the first week, the first month, the first year.
And once you start working with clients, you start to see what you enjoy and what you don't.
Yes.
But like we were saying, those big lessons we learn, it's so important that you have your contracts in place. And that would be my number one. If you're going to spend money on anything, it's contracts, insurances, and everything else you can have for free. You can use an Excel spreadsheet to do your numbers and your finances and things like that. And Canva to do invoices. You can do so many things for free. But those important things is what's going to protect you. So you need to invest in those and keep in the back of your mind, your first year, you're investing back into your business. Realistically, you're probably not going to make any money to take home for yourself to begin with. And that's okay, because you will want to invest in your business to get the right tech or to get the right softwares or the website or bring a team member in at some point, whatever that looks like. But you're investing in your growth. So yeah, keep that. I always say just be mindful for what you're doing so you know that the reality. And I think I speak so much truth around that because, yeah, it's important. Otherwise, you do think that you're going to come in and it's going to be easy and you're going to have this salary that's starting from the day that you open. And
yeah, it's not the
it's
reality.
hard work.
Yeah, it is hard work, but it's extremely rewarding. Yeah.
Correct.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just being, I think and that's why I love the podcast, because we're honest. We've lived and breathed this. And we're not hiding anything, and so amazing around the Seed community. And that's what we do when we come on to those brainstorming days and things. We're transparent and we're open and there's no judgment. Yeah. It's like we're having this situation or this is happening. What's happened? Could you help me? What should I say? It's really nice to know that there's people there that aren't going, well, actually, that's never happened to me.
Yeah. Or like, why don't you know that? Like you should know that. It's like, no.
Yeah. Yep. No, because it's happened to all of us. So it's just supporting one another and helping one another through those areas.
Yeah.
That's my little bit today.
Well, I appreciate it. And I really appreciate your honesty and rawness around what running a business like this really looks like, because you're right. When you first start, you're looking at everyone else and you're like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by all these amazing people running these great businesses, but it has the potential to make us feel inferior, like we're not where we should be, where we're not at the benchmark that someone else has decided is where we should be after a certain amount of time. So I really appreciate you sharing the sort of reality of the business ownership and what that life is like, because it's not easy. It does take hard work, but it's very achievable. And as you said at the start of the episode, you can be successful and still ask for support. I feel like we need that on t-shirts or hats or something, stickers, whatever, phone cases, whatever we're doing these days. Jess, if people are keen to learn more about what you do, follow along with you and hear more about the work that you do, where is the best place for them to head?
My Instagram. So that is I am Jessica Connor. It's an ER, not an OR. And if you've got any questions or if you're starting out or you just don't know, just send me a DM. I'm always happy to give you the advice where I can and help. I think it's important. We're a community. And then my website. My website needs a refresh.
I think it looks good. I was looking at it in the lead up and research for the podcast episode. It looks good to me. We're very hard on our own websites.
I'm so excited to get it redone. But as you know, things take time. And when we're very busy, our things get put behind and clients' things come first. So.
Correct. Well, we'll put a link to your social media and your website so people can follow along. Thank you so much for this conversation. I think it's really important for not just people starting out, but people that are navigating, returning to work, whatever work looks like after seasons of poor health and burnout, people that are thinking about starting out but are feeling like I don't have all the answers, people that are established and looking at potentially bringing in a team and how they do that. You have provided so much value and insight based on your experience. So thank you. I very much enjoyed getting to know you better and very much appreciate you being part of our community and always showing up and giving yourself and giving your advice to help the rest of our community.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really great fun.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Seed to Success. Make sure you are subscribing so you never miss an episode. If you know a VA or OBM who might benefit from this conversation, be sure to share it with them. Let's chat again soon.